Taping. Hi. It's me. We haven't seen each other for a week, but we're back. We're back with more yoga. The library has decided to continue offering you 2 classes a week online virtually. So Wednesdays and Saturdays classes will continue to be uploaded. But very exciting news, Parks and Rec is also offering live classes. So you can register online. And for friends on Facebook, I posted about it, or you can go to Parks and Rec on Facebook. They're posting about it too. But starting tomorrow night, I'm so excited. We're going to meet from 6 to 7, and then there's also a Friday morning class from 9 to 10, I believe. And this week, all the classes are going to be in the pavilion across from the community center on Fairview. And then normally the weeknight class will be Monday nights, and it will be on the Panther Park softball field. This week's a little different though, because tonight is supposed to be the middle school graduation. Weather looks good right now, and I have a 8th grader, so that's where I'll be tonight. But I would love to see you live and in person. It's hard. It's like a dream, right? Real live yoga. I'm gonna cry. I'm pretty sure. I'm a crier anyway, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be emotional. So, all right, let's get to it. Get your mat, lie on your backs, get comfy. I can't hear your answers, but if you have any injuries, any worries, any concerns, anything that you have done to yourself since we last saw each other this way, keep that in mind as you move through your practice today, okay? Sometimes when you have a little injury, like a muscle pull or something super, super tight, sometimes it's better to kind of go deeper into poses and see if you can work it out and open it up. But sometimes it's better to sit certain things out or come up with alternative movements. But only you know what's going to feel best for you. So just use your best judgment, okay? Incredibly hot out. I've been watching the weather maniacally today because I really want to go for a walk before I have to clean up for graduation. But yesterday I went around 10 a.m. and it was just god awful. I actually had to sit on someone's curb for a minute and drink my water because I felt really sick to my stomach. And I can't go early in the morning right now because I've got something going on with Cam. So I may have to become a nighttime walker for the month of July, which I don't especially want to do, but I also don't want to feel sick when I'm a mile and a half away from home. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I've seen quite a few of you lately out watering your lawns, doing things like that. I saw Yelena in Target. I feel like I see Yelena everywhere lately. Hi, Yelena. But 2 of you this past week asked if we could do a class where we stayed low on the ground and we worked on lengthening our hamstrings. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to do a quick hamstring opener, staying down on the ground because I think I don't know how to say this without sounding rude. I think that the people who are interested in a class like this have a hard time getting up and down off the floor. So they wanted to just do something that was a quick little sequence of poses on the floor that just kind of opened them all up without a lot of up and down movement, but at the same time paid a little extra attention to the hamstrings. So that's what we're going to do. You're lying on your backs, right? Your arms are out, palms are up. Nice deep breathing here, in through the nose, drawing the breath all the way down into the low belly, holding it there for a second, and then slowly exhaling. Finding a little bit of a rhythm with your breath, that would be nice. What have you guys been up to? It's been so warm, so warm. We have been at the beach a lot. No more whale sightings. We did see a rescue though on Saturday. We're not sure exactly what happened, but a boat pulled really close to the beach and someone jumped off, and then the people on the boat were yelling that they needed help, and the lifeguard swam out and they brought this person who jumped off up onto the beach, and then the boat drove away. So we're not entirely sure what that was about, but it was very exciting. For like 5 minutes we were living in Baywatch, but we have no more information than that, and hopefully they're okay. So that's all I have to report. Take a second here. Sometimes it's nice to set an intention for your practice, but when the person leading your practice tells you what the focus of the class is going to be, like in today's case, it's hamstrings, that can kind of become your intention. Or if you're interested in setting a little bit more of a metaphysical intention, you can do that. You know, some people like to dedicate their class to maybe someone who just needs a little extra energy or love, or you know, whatever you want to call it today. Some people like to think of an intention as something more like a prayer. That's kind of what I like to do. But from a physical point of view, our intention today is going to be to lengthen the hamstrings, which are tricky, and just in general relax, right? Just in general walk away feeling good. I don't know about you guys, but my stomach's upset all the time. The world is just such a mess. It's just such a mess. Today I read the paper this morning, USA Today, and one of the headlines was actually that the bubonic plague has been found recently in China. The bubonic plague is in China. What the heck? What? Like, I didn't even know that was a real thing. I thought that was made up, the bubonic plague. It's a real thing. It's in China. That can only mean that it's probably going to come here. This is rough. This is, right? Like, I feel like I'm getting more antsy and more anxious about everything now than I even was 3 months ago. I just would like there to be some sort of light at the end of the tunnel to focus on, but every day it's kind of crummy news. So yoga and walking and the Tabata class I do online and reading, and there's a show I'm watching on Hulu that I watch every night, and I learned how to make face masks. I'm making really cute face masks with like plaid and check and all kinds of good organic-y cotton material. Things like that have been real lifesavers for me lately, because they help me to focus my intention on something other than what's going on at the moment, which is very helpful. So I hope you guys all have something like that too. Okay, arms are out, palms are up. Pull the knees in, but only use your core muscles to do that. And then drop your legs over to the right. Let them settle, right? Inner knee to inner knee, inner knee to inner knee, inner arch of your foot to inner arch of your foot, heel to heel, big toe to big toe. Line everything up. Try to pull that top hip all the way over so that it's in alignment with the bottom hip. And then lengthen out through the left arm and bring your gaze either straight up at the ceiling or towards the left hand. I do feel on top of my game today though, because I have dinner planned out for like 3 nights. And that feels good. It's amazing. I was thinking today how everyone in my family just keeps on wanting to eat dinner and stuff. Like, I don't know. I'd be happy to eat a bowl of cereal. Give me some Golden Grahams mixed with Raisin Bran and I'd be fine for dinner. No, they don't want that. They want things grilled. They want things like Taco Tuesday. I'm so over Taco Tuesday. We lost Taco Tuesday in the middle of March. Taco Tuesday died, but not here, so. Take some nice deep breaths. Notice where you're feeling this. Quite possibly you're feeling it where I usually do, which is right down the side of my chest and even a little bit into my upper arm and my upper shoulder. That tends to be where I feel this the most. Sometimes in the back of my hip, like piriformis sciatica area, but usually more in the front body. I think I heard a teacher say this a couple years ago, and I think it's probably even way more true today than it was then. But we're always very tight. in this area because we're constantly rounding over and rolling the head of our arms forward and doing something with a keyboard, like our phone, our iPad, our computer. We're just constantly in this rounded position with shoulders coming forward. And anytime something is rounding forward and kind of closing in on itself, you're tightening it, you're shortening those muscles. So then when you do something big like what you're doing right now and the arm is out and you're lengthening everything, you're going to feel a little bit of a pull. But it's a good pull, right? It's not a huge one, but sometimes you just need to take a couple breaths and breathe through it. So take one more deep breath, big inhale. Nice long even exhale. And then bring the knees up to center, come on into a happy baby or one hand on each kneecap. And just let your arms weigh you down, bring you out to the side, and get some opening that way. I'm a little anxious about graduation tonight. The kids are supposed to be sitting 6 feet apart, and supposedly every family, each family got 3 tickets. Supposedly every family will be sitting 6 feet apart in the bleachers, and the bleachers are going to be marked out so that you know where to sit and where not to sit. We haven't done anything in a group like this since the last swim meet we were at, which was probably in February. But I gave Alex the option, do you want to go, do you not want to? The virtual graduation was really nice. For me, that totally fit the bill. But he wanted to go and do this. His friends are doing it and they haven't seen each other in a long time. So that's what we're doing. But I'm a little bit anxious about it. To be honest with you, being around all those people kind of gives me the willies. Bring your knees up to center. If you didn't, you're either in happy baby or you've got one hand on each kneecap, right? Bring the arms out wide, drop your legs over to the left, and do the same stacking. Line them up. Big toe to big toe, inner arch to inner arch, heel to heel, knee to knee, and then pull that top hip, that right hip over a little bit, and try to line your hips up as well. And then unroll the right arm out to your side, get it flat on the ground, spread the fingers nice and wide on that palm, and either look straight up at the ceiling or look towards the right hand. And again, pay attention to where you feel this. Do you feel it mostly in the front of that shoulder and into the chest wall a little? Or do you feel this more in your side body area? Or maybe for you, it's the back of your hip. It's different for everybody and there's no right or wrong. It's just the way it is. Are you guys super dry? I'm super dry. And it's 100% my fault because I have lots of body butters and lotions and coconut oil. I've got all the things to fix the problem, but I never want to put that stuff on because I feel like I'm always going to either be doing yoga or going out for a walk and sweating, and then it all comes off and it's really gross. I should be doing it when I go to bed and I just forget to, but I'm super dry. Like, this is the driest my skin has ever been in my whole life. Find your breath here. Relax into the pose, right? When you initially go into this pose, you have to focus on your breath and really almost not force the breath, but sometimes encourage the breath lovingly to be smooth, right? And not be like a big, like you want to breathe in and out through your nose, but you also want to regulate the inhale and the exhale and be in control of them, even if this is feeling a little uncomfortable in your body, right? That's how the breath with yoga works. You figuring out how to breathe consciously while your body's going through 1,000 other things. Knees up to center. Come on into your happy baby or one hand on each kneecap, letting the weight of your arms pull you wide. The reason I give you 2 options is because sometimes a full-on happy baby is a little too much for some people, especially in the beginning of a class. They might be fine doing it in half an hour, but doing it right out of the gate, it can be a little bit of a big pose for your hips or your hamstrings or your quads even, sometimes even your arms. Sometimes it's too much for even your shoulders. So when I give you the option, it's because maybe you prefer the lesser aggressive version of the pose, Or maybe it's just because you need the lesser aggressive version, and then you can work up to the bigger pose, right? So there's no shame in doing one versus the other. Do whichever one feels best, but always keep in mind that it's okay to switch it up. If you do a big happy baby right out of the gate and it feels fine, and then maybe something's twinging a little bit halfway through the class, do the other option. It's fine too. As long as you're moving and you're doing things to make you feel good, it's all yoga. All right, bring the arms out to the sides, palms up, bring the legs out long in front of you. Let your feet gently open up towards the sides of the room, and then close your eyes and focus on your breath. Inhaling, drawing the breath all the way down into the low belly, holding it there for just a couple seconds, and then slowly exhaling. I think when you're laying out totally flat like this and you're not contorting yourself into any kind of crazy position, it's when your breath is the most smooth. I think it's even smoother when you're lying like this versus when you're sitting up. Did you guys watch the fireworks? Did anyone go? It was a little bit crazy with the rain, right? With the rainstorm. We heard them, but the dog was under the bed scared, and the rain and the heat and the crowd just kind of deterred us. But we did go to the beach on 4th of July, and driving home on the parkway, we saw, I can't even imagine how many different sets of fireworks going off. It was just nonstop the whole length of the parkway. It was kind of amazing. It was the most fireworks I've ever seen anywhere in my whole life. Pretty neat. I like fireworks. Now, lying here, I want you to, you let your feet roll open towards the sides of the room, right? I want you to bring your feet upright, and I want you to point and flex them. So, arms are going to stay out at your side, palms are up. You are going to point and flex. So flex is pulling the feet back towards you. Pointing is pointing them towards wherever, across the room. So flex and point. And I want you to notice what you feel when you flex. Everybody flex with me. What do you feel? You feel your calves engage, right? You kind of feel them press into the ground a little bit firmer. You don't feel much in the upper body, right, though, in the quads or in the hamstrings. Now, point. You feel this more, tops of your feet, right? Maybe a little bit into the tops of your ankles, but the tops of your feet. So flex and point. Flex and point. And as you do this, try your best to muscularly press the backs of your knees down into the mat. You don't want to put your hands there. You want your arms out at your sides, palms up. But you don't want to have a big space underneath your knees, between your knees and the mat. So you want to muscularly press down. So when you flex your feet, press out through the heel. Press the knees down. When you point your feet, just shoot everything off the top of your feet and out your toes. Press the backs of the knees down. The backs of the knees staying down is constant. It doesn't matter if you're pointing or flexing. You just want to do that to start to gently lengthen the hamstrings. So point and flex. And you're laying down and doing this, right? I want you to be super relaxed. Okay, now widen your feet a little bit and make circles. Go in the other direction. There's always one direction that you're better at than the other, right? I can bring them in towards one another much easier than I can go away from each other like I am now. It just feels super weird. Okay, now what I want you to do is roll up to a sitting position and bend in your left foot, right leg out to the side. We're just going to massage out the bottom of our foot a little bit using our thumbs, okay? So just do whatever feels good on the bottom of your foot. Go up and down your toes. Go in between the big toe mound And the other side that's underneath more the pinky toe. Go down the arch with your thumbs, applying pressure so that it feels good, but you also feel like you're waking your foot up a little bit, right? So enough pressure that maybe if you were paying for a pedicure, you'd be like, a little bit softer. Do it a little bit softer, please. And then work your way down to your heel. My heels are just the roughest part of my whole foot. I think it's because I walk around barefoot so much, but remember the good old days, like 10 years ago when you went for a pedicure and they used that razor thing on the bottom of your foot, and you would sit there and be totally ashamed because skin would be like flying everywhere. But when you were done, your foot felt so much better. It felt significantly better. I miss those razors. My feet haven't been the same since they stopped doing that. And I actually bought one to do myself and then chickened out because that sucker's scary. I don't want to slice my foot open with it, but just the scrubby thing and like that little metal cheese grater thing, it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it for me. Okay, rub out that foot. And then let's switch and do the other foot. Same thing, use your thumbs. Toes. Ball of the foot, that area between the ball of the foot and the fleshy part underneath your pinky toe and your toe next to the pinky toe. I don't know what that's called. Work your way down your arch. Apply enough pressure that you wanna like, ooh, but not really, right? You just want to wake your foot up. You don't want to be too gentle with yourself. And then do your heel. Alex is going out for a bike ride. He's been doing the jumps on the trails. Interesting summer for him because, okay, come on up onto hands and knees, because typically he is on 2 swim teams. He's been competitively swimming since he was 6. So typically his whole life is school and swim practice, and he's always been very happy with that. He loves swimming, he loves being in the pool, he loves school, he's always been happy with that. But I think this time of forced break from swim has given him time to explore a little bit and see what else he likes. And he's really discovered mountain biking and running, and he's doing wiffle ball with his friends. He's kind of having like an old-fashioned summer because he's not at the pool every single day, and it's been really good for him. You know, we've been going to the beach at least twice a week with the kids, and they spend, 6 hours in the water with their boogie boards and their friends and my husband, and they're having a great time. But I was really worried about how not having the town pool would affect them, because we love the town pool. But it's been interesting to see Alex branch out into some other stuff. It's been nice. So I hope your kids are having the same kind of summer, like not the same, totally different than usual, but still pretty good. Like, I think my kids will remember this summer. Other summers may all blend together because they're all so similar. This summer might be one that really stands out as a memorable summer. Like the summer they got to take surf lessons, and the summer they learned how to jump their bikes, and just had time for stuff that they wouldn't normally have time for. So I'm thankful for that. Okay, spread your fingers nice and wide. Feet are flat out behind you. You're not curling your toes under yet. We're just going to start to cat and cow here. So on an inhale, spine goes up, tuck your tailbone, press up out of the shoulder sockets. On an exhale, arch your back and look up. So you're moving in kind of an undulating fashion on your breath. This always feels so good to me. This is just the simplest pose. Everyone can do this. You can do this sitting down. You can do this on your bed. You can do this anywhere. This always feels good to me. This is a very centering movement to me for some reason. Hear the dog. Crazy. She bit her collar off of her own neck last night while she was crated. So she woke up this morning with half a collar. So that's fantastic. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do to lengthen our hamstrings is we're going to curl our toes under on our right foot, lengthen our leg out behind us. Can you see what I'm doing? Toes are curled under. You're going to press into the mat with the ball of your foot, press out through the heel, but try not to let your hips pull back with your foot. Try to keep your hips pretty stable. So you're feeling this in the back of your calf, the back of your knee, the back of your hamstrings. And then bring it in. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So curl the toes under on the left foot, extend the leg out behind you. Hard to see this one. And don't let the hips pull back, right? Try to keep the hips right where they are. And then we're going to bring it in. Same thing, right side again. Toes curled under, pressing out through the heel. And then last time on the left side. And then from here, we're going to come into a wide knee child's pose, which is also a hamstring opener because you're pressing your hips back behind you. So the knees are staying stationary. The hips are pressing back towards your heels. They're not necessarily going to touch your heels. For some people, they might very easily touch their heels, but for the rest of us, you may have a couple inches between your butt and your heels, and that's fine. But you're pressing the hips back. You're lengthening everything. The quads are feeling this. The hips are getting an opening, and the hamstrings are getting a little bit of a lengthening. So forehead or chin down, arms out in front of you. And find your breath here. All right, come on up. So what we're going to do is start in a seated position and move through a little bit of a sequence on the floor, seated, and then we're going to move to a lying down position and move through some poses that way so that when we're done with those, you can transition really smoothly and peacefully right into your Shavasana. Okay, so get a little blanket or a towel or something just to fold up and put underneath your tush so that you can sit up really straight and tall and not slouch. You don't want to end up with a little bit of a tight back from doing this. You want to leave feeling better than when you started, right? So grab something to sit up on. And let's start with our legs wide. Okay, my favorite. Okay, so we're just going to start. Now, the key thing here when we're doing most of these seated poses is going to be to flex our feet. So that's what we were doing before. We were pointing and flexing, pointing and flexing. So flexing, the toes are pulling back towards you. You're pressing out through the big toe mound as well as the heel. So that's what you want to do for just about every pose we're going to do. You want to make that sort of your regular foot position, okay? So flex your feet. Notice how that engages your calves. Press the back of your knees down into the floor muscularly. I'm putting my hands here just to show you what I want you to do, but I don't actually want your hands there. So press out through the heel. Arms come on up. And then slowly start to fold forward. Taking this in little tiny increments. Maybe you haven't done this in a week or so and you're feeling a little bit tight. So we're just going to do it in baby steps. But if we keep our feet flexed and we continue to press out through the heel, even though we're doing a forward bend with the intention of opening our hips and lengthening our spine, our hamstrings are still going to get a benefit from this, right? Hamstrings, in my totally humble, non-professional, except for being a yoga teacher, opinion, are much tighter in the summer than they are any other time of the year, because we tend to wear flats a lot more. Unless you're a lot fancier than me and you wear wedges or heels everywhere, then you're probably wearing slides or flip-flops, or, I mean, you know, in today's day and age, a lot of running shoes, because we have so much time to work out and take walks or go for a run. But when your foot is flat, your hamstring gets a lot tighter. When you're wearing a wedge and your toes are down and your heel is high, the hamstring's not getting as tight. So wearing flats like flip-flops or Adidas slides, which are my favorite, or Uggs or running shoes, which are kind of all my favorite shoes, my hamstrings are always quite tight. But in the summer, we tend to wear shoes like that a lot more. In the winter, we might wear a boot more that has a little bit of a height in the heel, you know? So I think summer hamstrings are tight. I think that's why when I see you guys on the street, you ask if we can do hamstring things. It's so funny. It's so funny for me when I see you. People will say, "Are you Stacy?" And I'm always kind of thinking, oh gosh, like what did Cam do? What did my dog do? Never occurs to me that you're asking because of these dumb videos. Never occurs to me. I'm always in a little bit of a panic until you say, oh gosh, I've been doing yoga. And I'm like, oh, okay, we can talk now. But hamstrings seem to be your number one. So keep pushing out through the heel, keep pulling the toes back, and then let's walk the hands up and kind of sit into our tailbone a little bit. So roll the head of the arm bones back. Head of the arm bones are this, see, if I roll forward, you get this rounded portion of your shoulder. So that's the head of the arm bone, but you don't want this. You want this. You want to put everything back behind you. Bring the shoulder blades together on your spine, towards your spine a little bit, and sit up just nice and straight and tall. And we're just going to do our mixing bowl, right? But we're continuing to flex our feet and press out through the heel, press out through the big toe mound. So we're very subtly starting to warm up our hamstrings without really paying a whole lot of attention to them. You just have to pay attention to the fact that your foot wants to flex. Well, it actually doesn't want to flex, right? It wants to relax. You want it to flex for the purpose of opening your hamstring. So you're doing something else, you're not paying a lot of attention to your feet. You want to be careful that you don't just let that flex go without even meaning to. Let's go in the other direction. I hope you guys will join me for these outdoor classes that we're starting. Last summer, we did outdoor classes at night on the Panther Park softball field, and it was really, actually it might have been more like fall. We might have done them in the fall because the sun would be setting when we were there, and it wasn't 8:30, so it must have been more fall time. But it's a nice place to do it. It's definitely going to be hot though, so you're going to want to bring a water bottle for sure, if not two, maybe even. But because of the heat, and because we haven't been live in so long, we'll take it easier and just sort of start from the beginning with our practices, kind of start fresh. But you're going to want to be well hydrated for sure. So feet are still flexed, right? So now we're going to go towards the middle again. Arms up. Start to fold towards the middle, coming all the way down to where you're comfortable. Nice deep breathing here. Inhaling and exhaling. And then come on up. So we are going to keep the right leg where it is, out to the side, foot flexed. We're going to bring in the left heel to, just somewhere in the middle. And we are going to fold over the left knee. So we're going to sit up straight and tall, turn ourselves over the left knee. We're still flexing the right foot, right? That's putting the emphasis on the right hamstring. We're not letting that go. And we're just going to start to walk our hands forward, coming down. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So now we're going to extend the left leg out. Dog bones in my way. We're going to extend the left leg out, and we're going to flex the left foot and bring the right foot in. So now we're focusing more on the left hamstring by flexing the left foot, right? So this is my tighter hip. You can see my knee is sitting higher. I'm growing to hate this hip actually because I think all the walking I'm doing is making it tighter, which makes it harder in my yoga practice, even though I should be focusing more on this hip. I'm not, because it's bothering me, because it's just not as easy or comfortable. So I need to remedy that. So we're gonna turn over the right hip, we're gonna walk our hands out, and we're gonna fold just comfortably over that right knee. Left foot is flexed so that you're getting the lengthening in the back of the left hamstring. I know I've said this to you guys before. I just need to keep reminding myself of it. When something is uncomfortable in yoga, like stuff with my right hip is for me, that means that you need to go deeper into that, because that's a tight spot that needs a little extra love and attention. And I need to remind myself of that when I'm doing hip things, and I think, oh gosh, I hate doing that on my right side. It needs me to do it. I need to do it, even though I don't like it. All right, guys, come on up. Now we're going to bring our legs out long in front of us. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, flex your feet. Toes come back, heels press out, big toe mounds are pressing forward. Your toes are literally pointing back at you. That's how much you want to be flexing, right? Inhale the arms up, interlace the fingers like I am, and press the palms up towards the ceiling. And just kind of lengthen out from your side bodies here. See if you can find some space in between the hip that's on the ground and the palms of your hand. Okay, now start to fold forward, engage the core, so that means suck it in, try to find some space. You're not rounding your back and dropping your head, you're reaching with your chest towards your knees, towards your shins, okay? So you might not go as low as you would like to go because you're not rounding, but you're getting a better lengthening. Go as low as you're comfortable going. Get a grip. If you can hold your feet like I'm holding mine, you can manually force a deeper flex, press the backs of the knees down into the mat, and get a really big hamstring lengthener. If you've got the sides, that's great. If you've got the big toes, that's great. Whatever you're holding on to though, you want the toes to come back and the heel and the big toe mound to press out, okay? And then once you've got your forward bend as deep as you can, then you can drop your head. while we're down here, we're going to do a quick shoulder opener, and then we're going to move onto our backs and work through our hamstrings a little bit more aggressively from a lying down position. Okay, so, all right, so right hand to left shoulder, left hand to the back of the right elbow. Just gently apply enough pressure to feel this in the back of the shoulder and the back of the upper arm. It was supposed to be rainy today from like 2 through the whole rest of the day. I'm secretly hoping it rains because I really don't want to sit in the bleachers in the hot sun with lots and lots of people. I just don't want to. Switch it up. Okay, same thing on the other side. Left hand to the back of the right shoulder, right hand to the back of the left elbow, and just apply pressure so that you feel this in the back of that shoulder and a little bit into the back of the upper arm. And then switch it up. Okay, let's come back onto hands and knees for one quick second and just roll out our back with a little bit of cat and cow. And then we will lie down and get to our hamstrings a little bit more, okay? Move on your breath. Inhaling, puffing your spine up like a puffer fish towards the ceiling. Exhaling, arching your back and looking up. So now we're going to lie on our backs. I'm going to lie with my head towards you because I think, at least in my mind, that gives you a better view of what I'm doing and trying to talk you into doing as well. So, lie on your back. Bring your feet wide. Let your knees tower in towards one another. Okay? And bring your arms into cactus. So cactus is a bent elbow, trying to get the whole length of the back of the arm down on the ground. And nice deep breathing here. All right, now you're going to cross your left ankle over your right knee. And just muscularly push the knee away from you. So I'm pushing my knee towards the wall with the mirror on it, but I'm not using my hands. I'm just muscularly doing it. And I'm doing that with the intention of putting a little space in my hip crease right here, as well as my inner thigh and my groin muscles. Same thing, other side. Again, for me, this is my tighter hip. So it doesn't just go, it doesn't work as easily, which is a frustration to me. I don't know if any of you are feeling that in one of your hips either, but it's frustrating to me. I like it when things are even. And with this, it's definitely not the case. Okay, so we're gonna take the right leg straight up in the air, and we're gonna flex the right foot. So the toes are pulling down, heel is pressing up. We're pressing out with the back of our knee. And if we can line everything up over our hip, things will kind of fall right into place. And even though this still might not be the most comfortable position, if you can line things up and let them slide into where they're supposed to be, it's a little bit better. Now bend the knee in and see if you can use your pointer finger and your middle finger to get your big toe. Okay, head is going to stay down on the ground so we don't hurt our necks. And we're going to extend out with our foot, trying to straighten out through the back of the knee to get the hamstring opening that we're looking for. And then we're going to bend the knee, keep the grip you have on the toe, and just let the knee go out to the side. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to extend up with the left leg, flex the foot. Toes are coming down, heel is pressing up, big toe mound is pressing up, and the back of the knee is pressing towards the wall in front of me. Focus on your breath here. Smooth, even inhales and exhales. And then reach for the big toe. Head comes back down. Lengthen the leg out. Press out through the back of your knee. Nice deep breathing here. Straightening through the back of the knee is what encourages the hamstring opening. If I were to bend my knee a lot, that would make it a lot easier on my hamstring, and I don't really want to do that until I'm ready. So I'm straight and I'm pressing out through the back of the knee. Now I'm going to bend the knee and make this a little bit more of a hip opener to give my hamstring a second to catch up. And then the foot's going to come down to the ground, soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Arms can be in the big T or in cactus, whatever you prefer. All right, so now we're going to keep the left knee bent. Right leg is going to come straight out in front of you with the foot flexed. And we're going to do some leg lifts, but we're going to do them with the intention of lengthening the hamstring. So keep the foot flexed, press the back of the knee down into the ground. Swing the foot straight up overhead, and then bring it back down, but don't let it touch the ground. Let it stop and hover a couple inches above the ground, and then swing it up again. We're just going to do a couple of these, but we're pressing out through the heel. That's the important part of this to make it the hamstring opener. Bring it down to, just maybe 2 or 3 inches off the ground. Swing it back up. Keep pressing out through the heel. And notice where you start to fatigue first. It's probably going to be your quad. Let's do one more. Swing it up. Bend the knee. Put the foot down. So now let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So left leg comes out in front of you. Flex your foot. Swing it up. Drop it down. So you're doing everything with a very controlled motion, right? You don't want to just let the leg crash down to the ground because you're stopping it a couple inches before it hits the ground. If you're not using muscular energy to do that, it's just going to hit. That's not what we're looking for here. We're lengthening the hamstring out through the heel, but we're also using the quad to control the movement. bring the foot down. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Arms can come into big T or cactus. Close your eyes here. Take a couple nice deep breaths, you guys. In through the nose. Draw the breath all the way down into the low belly. All right, bring the knees up to center. Let's tower them in the opposite direction, right? I like to do the opposite. Okay, now we're gonna fireman pull up our legs. So we're gonna extend the right leg straight up, flex the foot. Your hands are gonna come to the back of your leg. And all you're gonna do is walk them up and then walk them down. Walk them up, which lifts your head, brings you into a little bit of a crunch, and then walk them down. The whole time my foot is flexed, my knee is almost hyperextended but not quite. I'm pressing out through the back of my knee to straighten and lengthen the hamstrings. Okay? Walk up, walk down. So you inhale up, you exhale down. One more. Down, and then last time up and down. Bring the knee down, tower it in, let it relax. Left leg. Leg goes straight up in the air. You flex your foot. Hands come to the back of your leg. So as you walk up your leg, you're inhaling and you're lifting your head and your shoulders. As you exhale, you're walking down and you're lowering your upper body back to your mat. Okay, we're just going to do one or two more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time, inhale up. Exhale down. All right. Knees out to the side, soles of the feet together. Arms into cactus or the big T. And then from here, you guys are just going to lengthen out on your mat and come into your comfortable position for Shavasana. So whatever that is for you, that's what you're going to find. The thing about what we just did, when you're doing hamstring openers and you're doing them on the floor, is you want to try to mimic forward bending as much as you can, because forward bending, in my mind at least, is the best way to open your hamstrings. You keep your legs as straight as you're able. You're in that four corners of the foot pose where you're pressing down through the big toe mound, the pinky toe, the inner heel, and the outer heel. You're pressing out through the back of your knee. And you're lifting the hips high as you bend over the pose. So anything that you can do on your back that mimics that action is going to lengthen your hamstrings. So the things that we did coming forward, going over to the side and coming into a forward bend. Fireman pulling up our leg. Those are all things that mimic a forward bend, but they do it while you're lying securely and safely on the floor. I know for some people with crummy knees or, maybe a bad ankle, it can be tricky to get up and down a lot, to move from pose to pose. And you can certainly have a really good, fulfilling practice staying down low on the ground. I like to combine the two depending on my mood and the weather and everything else. I like to be up mostly, but I like to combine the two. And I'm glad that when I saw a couple of you asked me to do something like this, because I think it's good to show people how you can do yoga regardless of how your body's feeling. Maybe one day you want to stay down low, maybe one day you want to get up and do 20 sun salutations. You just make it work for you, right? It's your practice and it's your body and you know how you're feeling and you just make it work for you. It's that simple. So lie on your back, eyes closed, arms are at your side with the palms up. You can either have your arms out in the big T, or you can have them a little bit closer to your body in more of the cactus position. Whatever your shoulders are feeling like might be nice. Eyes are closed. And you're just going to take some nice deep breaths. Inhaling the breath down to the low belly, holding it there for a second, and then slowly exhaling it. I have a new blister this week. It's actually the scar of an old blister from like 2 months ago that's kind of on the top of my foot. It's sort of weird. It's like the scar healed, but then the other day it blistered again. But I think I struck gold at ShopRite, of all places, with a new kind of sock. I have a hard time with socks. I'm like a size 10, my foot, and I have a flat foot, right? It's very attractive, and it's kind of like I don't have sexy feet. I kind of have like rectangular feet. I don't know. They're kind of Flintstone-y, if you ask me. But I have a hard time with socks being long enough, because most women's socks are like size, what does it say, like 5 to 9 or something. So they'll seem like they fit, but then once I start working out and I'm wearing my running shoes, and I have different style running shoes. I have like a traditional height back. I have one that's a little higher. I have a lower one. Once I start wearing my running shoes and actually getting into the workout, the socks start to creep down into my shoes, and I don't want to stop on the side of the road and take my shoe off and fix my socks, so I just keep going, and then when I get home I have blisters. So I found these socks in ShopRite. You know how ShopRite has that section where they sell like underwear and t-shirts and boxer shorts and socks. They're Hanes, and I think they're called the softest sock. I think that's what they're actually called. They're super soft, but that's not what I love. They're not high. They don't have like a big fat cuff around the top, but they're not no-show. They're not low. They have just enough extra height to keep the sock from creeping down, but without looking like you're wearing a big giant scrunchy sock. But they only come in packs of 3s, so I have to buy them every time I go. Like, you know how you want to try something out, so you don't want to buy like 9 pairs, so that's what I did. But now that I've fallen in love with them, every time I go, I scoop up another 3-pack, because it seems that other people like them too, and there's never a ton of them hanging there. So Hanes, the softest sock, and I think I don't know what the height is, but if you see it, you'll know. It's better than the low creeper socks, and it's better than a super high weird old man sock. But this blister's on the top of my foot, not my hand. That was just a lot of talking. So close your eyes. Let your mind wander here. Maybe think about, think about your week. Maybe there's something that you're looking forward to, like a beach day or a pool day. Put all your thought, put all your intention, put your mind on that thing right now, and just bring yourself to that really nice place. My best friend rented a house because they're not doing any of their usual vacations this summer. She kind of at the last minute got a good deal and rented a house for her family in Lavalette for 3 weeks. So they're starting their second week. This is the start of their second week, but Lavalette's only, an hour and 20 minutes away from here. So that's where the boys and I go, and we meet them and we hang out. And she and I have been best friends for as long as Cam's been around, I think. I don't know, 10 years? I don't know, quite a while. But for some reason, we've never been to the beach together until this summer. Our kids are different ages a little bit, and she's got girls and I have boys, and her son's older than my boys. So we've just never done stuff like that together. We've always just kind of had our relationship and not really brought our kids into it. But because it's the beach, we're just mixing everybody up now, husbands and everybody. And we were both there on Saturday. We were on our beach blankets. We were both just kind of laying on our stomachs talking, and the sun was so warm and it was perfect. And that's where my mind would go right now, because it was just a perfect summer afternoon. We weren't crowded by people. The water was refreshing, but it wasn't freezing, shocking cold. And if you haven't been to the Jersey Shore yet this summer, I can't explain why, but the ocean looks like it's Caribbean blue. It's the prettiest Jersey Shore ocean I've ever seen, and it's really clear too. So if you haven't been yet, get yourself down to the beach, just even for one day. Even go later in the day and bring your chair and read your book. Like just make the trip. It's definitely worth it. But for me, this summer, those will be like the places that I let my mind wander when I'm lying in Shavasana and I'm just trying to take a few minutes to center myself and relax. So whatever that is for you, bring yourself there now. Focus on your breath. You're inhaling, you're exhaling. Remember how I got my hair cut like 2 weeks ago? It's been up like this every single day. I'm not even blow drying it anymore. I'm spraying in my argan oil and my leave-in conditioner, and I'm just letting it air dry because, I don't know, because I can't be bothered. But my ends are a lot healthier since I got it cut, so I'm thankful for that. Take a couple more deep breaths here. In through the nose, holding it there in the low belly, and then slowly exhaling. Take notice of how your body feels. Start at the top of your head, work your way all the way down to your feet. Do you like my tank? This is my most comfortable tank top. It's long, and it's not like skimpy shoulders, so you can wear a regular bra. You don't have to wear a sports bra with it. Amazon, but I love this tank. It's really soft cotton. I love the colors. I love everything about it. I have a lot of tank tops too. Yoga teachers tend to accumulate tank tops like nobody's business. Sorry, I've talked through your whole Shavasana. Sorry. I'll do better when we're live. I really am hoping to see you guys tomorrow. I'm hoping to see a lot of you tomorrow. It'll be so good to be with you. We're going to be 6 feet apart. We're not going to need to wear a mask because we're going to keep our distance. Of course you can if you prefer to wear a mask. It's just going to be good to be live with you and to, when I talk to you, have you answer back, right? That's as someone who's talkative in my classes, probably even more talkative in my classes than I am in my real life. That's been the hardest part of virtual for me, not getting a response. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow nights, and I'm hoping that you guys will sign up and join me. So make your way over to your right side or roll up to a comfortable seated position. Trying to switch. No, it's not working. I'm trying to switch the direction that I put my, you know how when you sit cross-legged, there's one leg that you always pull in instinctively and then the other one goes on the outside of that. I'm trying to switch that to start to work on opening up my right hip a little bit more aggressively, and it's so uncomfortable. I want to get in there with like a super deep massage, have someone do that. I don't know that that would help open it, but it would feel really good. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Off subject, off track for the last 10 minutes of this class, right? Hands come to your heart in prayer. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Exhale the breath. And we're going to finish with a sound of Om like we've been doing, because hopefully you're participating in your home and it's just feeling good in your throat. Remember what I said a few weeks ago. It's not at all religious for me, so it doesn't have to be for you. It's merely thought to be the sound of all the noise in the universe spiraling up and turning into one sound. And it just feels calming and relaxing. That's all it is for me. So take a deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to do another deep breath. And then on the exhale, we're going to let go with the reverberation of Om, okay? So, Namaste. Namaste, you guys. Thank you so much. This was our 29th virtual class. 29. I might get my wish. Looks like it's getting a little darker. I might get to walk in the rain and not have to lug along my giant water bottle and feel like I'm gonna pass out when I'm like a mile and a half from home. I really, really hope to see you tomorrow night. It's not too late to, well, darn it. I just realized this class is going to go live on YouTube on Wednesday night, and tomorrow's Tuesday. Okay, so, sorry. So, here's what we're going to do. If you watch this class on Wednesday, you know, maybe we'll just do it live today. If you watch this class on Wednesday and it's too late to come to class tomorrow, then just sign up anyway. It's such a good price, you guys. It's 7 classes for $30. So even if you miss one class and you only get 6, you're still only paying $5 a class. That's really, really good. I don't know if you're aware, but studio class as a drop-in is easily like $20, $22 right now. So, I mean, granted, you have to put up with all my stories and my chatting, but that's a really good price. Maybe we'll do this class sooner than Wednesday. Maybe we'll do it live tonight or tomorrow, just since we missed Saturday because of the 4th of July. So anyway, thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a good rest of the week. I will see you either live and in person tomorrow, or I will see you back here virtually on Saturday. Okay? Thank you guys. Take care.